Hi, Harmeet. How are you?
Very well. Glad to be here, Pari. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
I
it's
must,
always difficult to go right after Rick after his inspirational talk.
not only Rick, yours as well. So I have big shoes to fill. But I must
um,
congratulate you. I must congratulate Zinnov for hosting a great virtual event.
Great, thanks, Harmeet. So, Harmeet, the first question I had was, you have been a veteran in this industry. You've seen the digital disruption playing out across industry segments over the last, last decade. How is how is that going to change? What is next? And your practice name is Engineering Next. So what is next for enterprises, and how do you see that going forward in the next 2 to 3 years?
Pari, great question. I've personally seen about 2.5 decades of innovation journey in the valley, and we have seen the dot-com bust and 2008 journey, and now this. Last decade, we saw a significant digital transformation where everybody wanted to digitize the information they were using, and the consumers saw the biggest impact. Having been part of products and having been part of engineering services industry, where we're enabling innovation for clients, we saw the proliferation of technologies, whether it was about building connected products, whether it was rewriting the software, whether it was managing data, whether the new architectural paradigms of IoT and Industry 4.0. So multiple things changed in last decade. The aspect of getting access to talent, that became a big concern. The aspect of creating an innovation agenda which has a time to market, a speed to value aspect, not just the R&D efficiency aspect, became critical. And through this journey, you saw emergence of new technology innovations with AI, with 5G, with blockchain, all of that. So as we move forward, we're going to see a further acceleration of this agenda. So in context of Wipro and EngineeringNXT, we've been traveling this journey as a company for about 35 plus years. And when we looked at the kind of work and the value we're creating for our clients, we saw multiple dimensions. We saw access of talent, we saw access of business models, we saw access of engaging with clients across the innovation cycle, early part, matured part, the legacy part. And we saw the diversity of technologies we were bringing together. So this is where our EngineeringNXT portfolio, which is all about enabling innovation at scale, is bringing the aspects of engaging with clients across different industries early on to co-innovation, bringing access to the talent, bringing access to business models, but more importantly, enabling an OT-IT convergence. Because the biggest change we have seen in last decade outside of technology innovation is the need of this technology innovation is no more in Silicon Valley or in Seattle anymore, or in Bangalore anymore. The need of this innovation is across all industries. And as Wipro, we service about 11 industries globally. We saw that whether you're an automotive company or a manufacturing company or an oil and gas company or a financial services company or a Starbucks kind of a company in the consumer space or different kind of healthcare companies, you saw the need of taking these innovations and making them core of your business. And that's where we've been partnering with clients to enable innovation for them who had aspects of access, getting access to talent, getting access to expertise, and doing it at scale. That's a quick view in terms of what I saw happening last decade. Going forward, I expect this to further accelerate. I believe the COVID-19. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Amit.
I believe the COVID-19 event which we are going through right now is a new normal, and this will further accelerate the pace. Actually, it creates a tipping point for getting these innovations to faster acceleration through the innovation cycle.
Got it. So, Harmeet, one of the things we have seen customers over the last few years is going through a POC part, especially enterprises, right? They're trying a lot of different technologies. They're going through POC. They're working with companies like you. They're working with platform companies, product software companies, and really understanding what are the limits of these technologies and how they can leverage. But several of the companies are not able to fund this to drive scale and drive these digital innovations to truly, reduce the risk in the business or increase revenue or reduce costs. What are some of the examples where you've seen customers, use the engineering next construct and truly scale innovation? So, what are some of the examples you can give us? Real life examples across industries.
Great question there. I touched upon the access to talent. I touched upon the OT-IT convergence. I touched upon the need of innovation in non-technology companies. As Wipro, we've been on the forefront of it. I'll take a public information. This is publicly announced. We partnered with Intel, part of their AI program, and built a utility solution and partnered along with a customer called DC Water, the District of Columbia utility, to really help them go through the inspection of the infrastructure of sewage, something which would take them 18 months. Now they could do it in 6 weeks.
Wow.
So what we did here is a utility company, which is a publicly owned company. When I say public, it's a government-owned entity. And they had, we brought technology of Intel, we brought our expertise, and they brought the understanding of the sewage infrastructure. We brought all those three dimensions together to create an innovation which solved a business problem, a real-life business problem within the regulatory framework. And now we're taking that to other customers along with DC Water, enabling them to create revenue stream as well. This is a very different way of innovating where we're bringing technology, people, process, expertise together with our clients. That's one example. The second example is using our top coder crowdsourcing platform. In case you're not aware, it's a crowdsourcing platform giving access to a 1.5 million strong engineering community, which is global. And they're not Wipro employees. They're a community which make money on the crowdsourcing platform by delivering innovations to clients globally. We use that for a very well-known software company to really eliminate the need of they bringing hundreds of engineers to do a minor release. They could now use this top coder platform and the horsepower of engineers behind it to reduce their releases from 2 weeks down to every 48 hours and eliminating the need of mobilizing hundreds of engineers of their own or their consultants or their contractor engineers to go do this release. So not only eliminate and make them much more efficient, but also give them an outside-in view, a real customer view of using the product, which some of us are using it right now in today's situation globally. Third example I can give you, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Harmeet.
Another example I can give you is, a company of Indian origin, we have larger scale of engineers in India, but a very large company again asked us, can you really help build an engineering capacity for us and access to talent in a place like Taipei? We scaled up ground up operation where many of their products are now being tested in Taipei with Taipei talent, with university relationships locally made available. We took our best practices of building large engineering capacities, enabling innovation, and we took that and we operationalized that journey. So I can keep going on and on. Similarly, there's an example in oil and gas industry where part of the OSDU initiative, which is around standardizing the data formats across oil and gas companies, where you have technology cloud providers like Microsoft partners. Wipro became a contributor as well recently. And we are using our thought process of building high-performance computing systems for our clients, create a data platform where we're able to all the data which is coming from the oil fields. We are now collecting the data, storing it on Azure, processing it on a data platform organically, making that data available to decision makers in oil and gas companies. Something which would take a couple of months is now expected to be done in a couple of days. Now, a traditional oil and gas company does not have that level of engineering expertise, the innovation expertise, which we are bringing to bear. Some of the examples, Pari, to give you a feel as to how we are really leveraging our EngineeringNXT platform to enable innovation.
It's very interesting, Harmeet. So you talked about using some of the platform companies, be it the semiconductor companies or the cloud platform companies. And you also used your Top Coder platform, which is a platform of freelance top developers. And you brought them together to solve some real world customer problems across industries. And your practice seemed to have played a very strong system integration, product development role in taking that to market for your customers. And we also strongly believe, that is going to be the future where companies are going to focus on what is core. If you're an energy company, they're going to focus on what is core to them. And they will leverage the technology, intellectual property from platform and services companies to be able to get digital out in the market and scale out in the market. And the examples you gave are a great, examples to support that. What are some of the challenges customers face when they want to get into this journey, and what has been the key challenges they face?
The biggest challenge, I've seen multiple customers who set a nice strategic vision and they want to now operationalize it. So everybody walks into an automotive company saying, I want to be a software company. You walk into a payment system company saying, I want to be a fintech company. You walk into an insurance company saying, I want to use high performance computing. And that's the way going to be my business. So when they travel this vision statements, you've got to operationalize it. It starts with, are you able to attract the right talent? So that connecting the dots to your keynote, that you're going to see a lot more technology leaders being hired in traditional companies outside of tech companies. That's the critical challenge every company is facing. How do you attract talent, give them a career framework, and enable that journey? The second aspect is when you have OT, IT convergence, there is considerable confusion, and every company has experimented different way. We had the concept of chief digital officer, which has now moved to chief digital and information technology officer. Then there are some business leaders who are who want to define their agenda, their strategy, and their technologists. So we today, as Wipro, are bringing in the thought process using our business models, which is consulting-led, bringing the product mindset to really help OT and IT to converge and manage the dynamics. We are seeing that in model-based enterprise. When you're talking a conversation about Industry 4.0, super important that you bring the internal dynamics of the organization to the fore and you help them manage it, because that change management is super important for them to have the next generation supply chain and also have new innovation which they can now start making money. So that's the other aspect we have seen. The third aspect what we've seen is leveraging partners. For engineering services companies, it's very unique to be focused on people and process. And when you go outside Silicon Valley, you have to bring in technology components as well. And technology components, if they are homegrown, they have to accelerate time to market. But if they are third party, you need to have deep engineering expertise around that particular technology and also perspective on the vertical domains as to how do you translate that for their journey. We see that when we offer lab as a service. We see that when we have some regulatory offerings. We see that even if I take the oil and gas example, it was an eye-opening experience when we traveled that journey of, can you really do this? And it took almost 9 months for internal dynamics of those organizations to come to a converge to a same place to enable the journey forward. So it's been an interesting learning journey, and I can say that many companies have come a long way. it is varying from industry to industry. If I have to put a scorecard, I would say the financial services and consumer-facing industries are much ahead. Healthcare companies are falling up. Automotive companies are being forced into thanks to Tesla. But aerospace companies are still, I think they are figuring out what does it mean for them. And if you look at geographically, Europe actually is leading in some dimensions as compared to some other parts of the world, what we see. With companies which are not part of the core technology. So hopefully I gave you some perspective.
Absolutely. And going forward, I know that right now we are in the center of the storm with COVID-19 across the world, things shutting down. And the key thing we hear from customers right now is business continuity, as they have global centers, they work with global partners. How do I get my business running? And my first question was, how are you dealing with that today? What are some key questions you hear from global customers around business continuity? And second, and the other side of this, how do you see the new normal with companies? Will you think that they will slow down on technology adoption, accelerate adoption? What is your current point of view on that?
Very apt question for the moment, Pari. I've been living this along with my team, and some of my leadership team is also listening in. We've been working with our customers on a daily, on an hourly basis globally. And I'm very humbled as to how the whole team has come together to ensure there is business continuity for every customer we are delivering services. Does not matter what scale of that customer is. And we're doing that while keeping people first, ensuring that people who are delivering services, safety and their health is of paramount. So, of course, Wipro, complete organization is on it and ensuring that. Our customers have been receptive. Our customers have been very, very agile and flexible to ensure that we are creatively delivering the BCP, especially when you have work from home and technologies and access to the labs and the networks become a limiting factor. So I would say that it's been a lot smoother than I anticipated. So I would say the humanity is really speaking for itself. Now, having said that, there are questions on how can you continue the pace of innovation, and this is where we are deploying top coder at a very aggressive pace wherever there is a need. We are starting to get conversations, and we expect these conversations to happen around eliminating the human element. And this is where I said earlier, the pace of innovation is going to further accelerate. I expect whether it's data, whether it's 5G, whether it's security, whether it's integrity around data to be managed, all of this is going to move at a much faster pace, which will lead to IoT and Industry 4.0 becoming a much faster reality much sooner than we all anticipated. So this goes back to the Rick's point. People will get out of the comfort zone. People will challenge the regulatory norms to really drive the innovation agenda, because that's the best way for this world to come out of this global event stronger. And this is where if you saw today's news on Tesla. Tesla says no touch service, and you cannot pick up the delivery of the vehicle without a human interaction. And this is where we expect in supply chain. This is where we expect in security, and this is where we as Wipro will leverage our EngineeringNXT.
Great. Thanks, Harmeet. I think from what you said, it is a positive from a technology perspective as we get out of this over the next few weeks or few months.
Thank you for watching a session from our 2020 edition of the Zinnov Confluence, where we bring together world-class insights from technology leaders and industry stalwarts that help companies transform, innovate, and collaborate. To know more, write to us at info@zinnov.com.